No Such Thing as a Bad Movie podcast.
Oh, Jesus
Whoa,
God.
April, you're Santa. It's great.
It's not Halloween anymore.
Oh, is that the evil, I don't know, scary pumpkin man? That
Yeah,
goes,
it's like Jack Frost, isn't it?
no, Jack Skellington.
What?
Jack Skellington.
Yeah, he's coming in.
Uh,
This is Halloween. This is Halloween. Halloween. All right, what are we doing here?
I'm April Admansky, and I'm here today with...
Justin the Glue.
And Colin Cunningham.
And we're starting our Christmas season today.
Christmas season. I mean, by the time the next episode comes out.
It's been Christmas for a while
I think I'm confusing Christmas and Halloween.
Well, Halloween. You know that
this-
in the UK, ghost stories are very big during the Christmas time, and
Really?
like the BBC have like Christmas ghost story. Yeah, and it's Charles Dickens' Christmas Carol that kind of started that.
Oh, and that spooky one where the man comes back to life after 3 days.
That one, too. I mean, that kind of
The
goes
Man
with...
Who Fell to Earth, starring David Bowie.
That goes with our first movie we're talking about, which is the remake of Black Christmas called
Wait, is there
Black
some-
Xmas.
Is there some Jesus Christ imagery in this?
There probably is somewhere, but it's funny because there actually are a lot of Christmas horror movies.
Yep, there are. I have 2 books on them. One of them that I have writing in it. I'm still staying spooky.
Oh. Yeah, so Black Christmas was originally a movie that came out in the 70s?
Was it 74 or something,
Something like that. I'm terrible with dates. But
Have you seen the original?
directed by Bob Clark. Yep.
Oh, who did Christmas Story?
Yeah, and Porky's.
That's right.
Out of town.
Fellow
You didn't know that?
Canadian.
No.
The biggest box office earner ever, Porky's.
That's
right.
I like to point out he
Canadian.
was not Canadian.
Oh, I thought he
moved to
was.
Canada to make movies around Black Christmas time, and I believe he may have
wait,
gotten
around
Christmas time. Yeah,
I know when he
he was a Santa Claus-like figure. No, because he made movies before. He made Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things and Death Dream, and those are not Canadian films. He's not Canadian. Everybody Canada has like taken him in.
Yeah, it's
Because-
like George Romero.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, to learn more about Bob Clark, check out the Important Cinema Club episode.
Did we do an episode on Bob Clark? I don't even
Yeah.
remember anymore.
It's the only reason that I...
How many podcasts do you do? You gotta
9.
settle down.
Yeah,
God almighty.
not until I'm a millionaire.
Do you
And by
even-
that I mean 100-aire.
Do you even know what podcast this is?
I don't
that
know.
we're doing?
They just roll me out of bed and put a microphone in my hand.
All right, what are we doing?
It's like THX 1138. I'm like, oh, just in a white room, and I just record all the time.
And a machine is jacking you off.
Whoa, is that? I have not seen THX.
Have you
been
not
a
seen
while.
30, is it 37 or 38?
1138.
Okay, yeah, because 37 in a row.
No, they did a remaster. They like Lucas did a remaster of it.
Wait, is someone being jacked off? in the
He's
scene?
this is one of my friends that I work with on the Wild at Core. Worked at ILM at the time.
Wait, did
and
he do that animation?
He actually animated the jack off machine.
What?
I'm
do
not
rem-
joking.
All I remember about the remastered version of THX is that like they made the little Wookiee. I mean, the little what? Not the Wookiees. The little monsters at the end.
Yeah.
They like CG'd over them to make them look like.
I can't remember that.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, it's one where like what's his name? Bob Duvall.
Bob Duvall.
Yeah.
As his friends like to call him.
Bobby
not
Duvall.
Robert Duvall, but
Yeah, he's
Bob
looking-
Duvall.
Bobby
Yeah, he's looking at
D.
like sexy imagery and like this big CG machine is like.
Yeah. I mean, that movie was supposed to be the start of Francis Ford Coppola's Zoetrope company.
Yeah,
and
that's right.
it failed so badly that it just tanked every other project.
Yeah.
Which brings us, of course, naturally, to Black Christmas.
Yeah, a movie that did really, really bad.
Yeah, that everybody hates.
Wait, the second one, the remake?
Yeah, the remake did it came out on December 26th when no one wants to see it.
Wait, so it was protested, wasn't it?
No, you're thinking of Silent Night, Deadly Night, I think.
Jesus Christ.
No, but people
I
like...
know.
like
You know, when you get older, time starts to fold in on itself. Mickey Rooney, he
didn't
hated
like it.
Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Yeah, and then he was in like the fifth one or something.
Yeah, he was. As the toy maker.
He
But
probably didn't
people
remember.
online were like, how dare they remake this movie? It doesn't need to be remaked. I mean, kind of is what happens now whenever something is being remade. People are like, you know, how dare you?
Black Christmas is sacred to people. Like, if you have one Christmas horror film, that's the one that you watch
Yeah, like
every year.
What's next? Are they going to remake, Home Alone?
Yeah, or something like that.
Yeah.
It's not like they made a sequel to Black Christmas called Halloween or anything like that. So, Black Xmas, what's the plot, April?
I'd say it's pretty simple, but the plot in this movie starts to get needlessly complicated with a huge backstory.
Amazingly complicated.
Yeah, so
I have
I'm
to
pretty
read-
sure.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure like the original movie, much like it starts with like this one where it's just girls in a sorority house, and there's like this story of the boy who became a man who lived in that house.
Nope, none of that stuff.
That's not in the original.
No.
Okay.
The original Black Christmas is a bunch of women are leaving their sorority house over the Christmas season, and they've been getting like nasty phone calls where someone's like, rah, and they like swear and stuff like that. And they start getting killed kind of like one by one. They start disappearing because they're supposed to be leaving for the Christmas season. Nobody notices.
Oh, they think they just went home.
Yeah, and they don't know who is on the phone or who is murdering these people, and the film never actually reveals who it is.
Oh.
While the remake goes all in, and you guys want some convoluted backstory?
Holy crap. I mean, it started out so simply, just like, what happens? It's like some guy escapes from a mental asylum. You know, and
Doesn't he stab somebody with a candy cane?
Yes,
Yeah, he does.
He sharpens it by sucking it to a
point.
Yes.
Which is not how that works.
You kind of get like some of his backstory peppered in, like the guard, I think, is telling one of the other guards, like, oh, you know, this guy, blah, blah, blah.
He's crazy.
And they kind of flash back. And it got to the point, and I was making dinner in the kitchen, kind of, you know, looking over from time to time. And every time I looked over, there was a new flashback.
Well, it kept.
It's like a different time period.
There's like 4 flashbacks, and it's like 1969, 1978,
Yeah,
1980.
91.
It's very complicated.
So yeah,
it's
by the
really
time,
long
by the
and
time I
complicated.
like,
It's not complicated
by the
because it
time,
doesn't really matter
well,
at the end of the day.
I have to read
No.
you the storyline. So I brought dinner out, and I'm like, I have to be honest, I have no idea what's going on in this movie so far. And then the movie actually started, like the plot. Once it became a straight ahead like slasher,
Slasher.
it was fine.
They're trapped in the house, and there's like someone going around murdering them.
Totally, you know, and it was pretty competent and it was entertaining. I'm like, why did you need all that extra backstory and flashbacks?
Well,
and,
maybe a producer of this film, who shall not be named, but may
boy.
have run Miramax Films at one point, said, you know what? It needs to be a little bit more violent.
Rhymes with
Yeah.
Harvey Firestein.
They're related.
I won't say his last name, but he
Harvey
ran a company
Firestein.
called the Weinstein Company.
Yeah, that's right. And so this film was directed by Glenn Morgan, who at that point, he was mostly known as a TV writer. He had been a showrunner on a bunch of shows as well. X-Files,
Millennium and Space Above and Beyond.
The
Morgan
Lone
and,
Gunman, who
Yeah.
can forget that?
oh God, yeah, Morgan and Wong.
Yes.
so
James
it's-
Wong having been... I mean, I think they wrote the script for Final Destination together as well.
Oh yeah,
probably,
they're
yeah.
Final Destination guys.
Yes, that's right.
Right.
And so Glenn Morgan at that point had directed Willard, the remake.
Which I'm actually a big fan of.
Are you?
I've never seen it.
I
It's fine,
I
actually.
liked it so much because I was a big Crispin Glover fan, and he definitely carries that whole
Who
movie.
isn't?
I know, but like it is kind of
Robert Zemeckis.
Yeah, that's right.
the movie.
Ooh.
It kind of has its problems, but overall, another movie that I didn't see the original for. I think it's good. Like it's creepy. The rat effects are good. You know, it
Yeah,
does. It
R.
does
Lee
its
Ermey,
job.
great in the movie back when he was riding
Yeah.
high as a megastar.
And I think his like awful mother was on like Road to Avonlea or something, like one of those like Canadian.
I'm sure they
shows.
probably shot in Canada. Glenn Morgan, I don't know if he is Canadian. I don't think he is.
not sure.
But they got Canadian links because X-Files shot in Vancouver.
Everything shot in
Every
Vancouver.
shot in Vancouver. I think they shot Black Xmas in Toronto.
I want.
Was that a real house
say
or a
they
set?
did.
Yeah, I think they did because I know the documentary on the disc is done by a Toronto guy, which would
Okay.
lead that link. I mean, this is a movie. I think it takes place over. Does it take place over all one night?
I
Black
I
Xmas.
believe so.
It's
Yeah.
just like perpetually night.
Yes.
well,
It's
if you
a
count the
snowstorm.
flashbacks, it takes place over,
Over
30
many
years.
years.
But those
I
are
mean,
at
the
night, too.
flashbacks are very important because we learned that the killer is the yellow bastard.
I have to read you
Okay, go ahead.
the storyline. I was so confused.
From the Wikipedia.
And I just went to Wikipedia. I'm like, okay, sum this up for me. In the 70s, the boy Billy was born with yellow skin due to a liver disease, and his dysfunctional mother rejects him. Later, he witnesses his mother and her lover killing his beloved father and burying him in the basement of their house. And he is locked in the attic alone along his child. What? That doesn't make any sense. For his childhood. When
You
he's
got to go into that Wikipedia entry and
Yeah.
edit it up.
When he's a teenager, he's sexually abused by his mother, and she has a baby girl called Agnes. And then during Christmas, Billy escapes from, the mental asylum.
Oh, you skipped a very important part where Billy kills his mother, I believe, and bakes her into cookies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
God almighty.
And eats them.
Yeah, and close up.
And then he pulls out Agnes's eye
Yeah,
and attacks her.
There's a big close up of him eating the eye, like,
Yeah, it's pretty gross.
And it's like bursting.
This movie
Yeah.
is nothing but eye trauma.
Yeah, it's like a Lucio Fulci film.
So then Agnes gets sent to an orphanage. He gets sent to a mental asylum. And then I guess this is, 20 years, 30 years later.
Yeah.
He escapes.
And now all these women are in the sorority house and they need to die.
Yeah, so the house that he grew up in is now a sorority house.
Mm-hmm.
And
Staffed with such luminaries as Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
From Final Destination.
Is there anybody else I'm missing? Some Degrassi people in there? I feel like there probably are.
Michelle Trachtenberg is the person that I know from,
Oh,
from
Buffy,
Buffy.
that's right.
And Lacey
Chabert.
Chabert.
I don't know who that is.
She's
from Mean Girls.
She's
Glenn
from
Morgan's wife shows up as
Party
well.
Five.
I don't remember what her name is, but she shows up very later on in the movie.
The older woman?
Yes, the older woman,
Yeah.
yes.
She's like, I'm here to see my sister, who is probably like 20 years younger than she
Yeah,
is.
that's right. Glenn Morgan's like, I need to find a role somehow.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a movie that famously Glenn Morgan didn't want to make. He was like pigeonholed into it, and then Miramax took it away from him and like added a bunch of crazy violence.
Okay, so why do you think that the director was basically forced into doing this movie? Why this movie?
Well, I think it's probably because he wanted to prove that after Willard, which he kind of approaches like a weird character piece, and that it didn't do well financially, that he could prove like, I can do like something like genre that everybody's gonna like, and that's easy and that it scares. Even though in the documentary he's like, I hate these kind of movies, these like jump scare films.
Well, it's so funny because like once it gets going, I think it's actually really competent and like, it's got good kills, lots of good practical stuff.
Yeah.
And
Icicles falling from and impaling people in
It's like
the eye.
Andrea Martin's in this movie.
She's in the original. That's why she's also
She
in
is.
this one.
But then
She's
she
got the icicle in the head.
She plays the sorority house mother.
Yes.
Do they have these things?
Yeah, they do. Because there was one in the original one as well who's in charge of the sorority house.
But
to
is
make
this-
sure that, like, they're women, they don't party too hard,
In the
I
year
guess.
2006, do they have a
Maybe.
sorority mother?
Poor Andrea Martin.
Come on.
I couldn't tell you.
So, my favorite part is definitely the gore, which, as we've
Yeah.
mentioned, is insane and way too violent for this kind of movie.
I disagree.
And it's so far away from the original. I mean, the director said, like, I wanted to make a PG-13 film. And to that I say, why? We already have the original Black Christmas. You don't need to make another one. It's like when you do a cover song. You don't want to do, like,
The
something
same thing.
similar.
Yeah.
You want to do something kind of radically different with the same idea. And, yeah, so that's why I approve of this Black Christmas.
Well, what's really weird
Xmas.
was, as we mentioned, there was a lot of trouble between, the producers in the studio and the director. And then after the movie was already finished, they wanted to make it look even gorier than it was. So they filmed additional gore scenes without the director's knowledge and put them in the trailer, and they're not in the movie.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
They're not
Not-
in any cut.
Not only gore stuff, but scenes that weren't so like they did shots with like somebody was underwater under ice, and then I think it was like Mary
An
Elizabeth.
actor that's not even in the movie.
Yeah, and it was like Mary Elizabeth Winstead or somebody.
Michelle Trachtenberg came back.
Yeah, so I was like, Merry Christmas, motherfucker, has like a shotgun. So all these scenes in the trailer.
That's the worst
And
when
then-
you see a trailer
yeah.
and then you go see the movie and none of that stuff is in it.
And I think he
Yeah.
found out over the phone, like he had no idea, the director, that he
Yeah,
had done this.
So he was
and-
obviously pissed off.
He probably wasn't pissed. There's footage of him like crying after a test screening of Willard
Oh,
that went
no.
like really bad.
Yeah, he
Poor
pretty.
guy.
I read an article with him, and he pretty much said, this was his last chance. After Willard was such a bomb that if this didn't make any money, he would probably never direct again.
They released it on December 26th. Who's gonna go see a Christmas movie on that day? That's crazy.
Do people go to movies on Christmas
Yes,
Day?
it's a
They
big.
do.
It's a
It's-
big thing.
yeah.
Yeah, I've gone with my family to go see movies on
yeah,
Christmas.
it's bigger than you think.
Boxing Day, forget it.
Yeah, I've
There's
never
no deals on Boxing Day anymore,
Yeah.
though. So
Yeah.
nobody goes out for that.
get
do
some
they?
sweet deals at the movie theater.
Yeah, all I wanted were those sweet DVDs, and they don't do that
Who
anymore.
who in their right mind would ever line up? Same for like Black Friday or
Well,
you'd see these.
I when I was younger, I used to do Boxing Day
For
sales.
what? What did you want for Boxing
like
Day?
Clothing and stuff.
You like
'cause
line up out.
at
It's like the
mall,
last thing I
yeah.
want to do after Christmas is like
I know.
line up for more stuff.
I'd never do it.
I remember I used to like going around to like Walmart and Best Buy, and they would have like stuff that like $5 that was usually like $30 because they're just trying to get rid of it. Hey, that's how I got my Star Trek Into Darkness 4K release for that sweet $5 price.
Wait,
That's the one that has the commentary track on it.
So
That
wait.
was an iTunes exclusive.
you lined up
No. I never lined up for anything. I just wandered in.
Okay.
In my whole life, I never lined up.
Never
for
in my life.
You just wandered in and walked over the dead bodies through the burning aisles.
It sounds like you think it's a lot more extreme than it actually is.
Yeah,
Colin.
all I'm thinking of is like
Colin,
those...
you don't go out very often. You're kind of a hermit-like figure,
This
right?
is not true. You're picturing me as like Obi-Wan or something.
Yeah, that's right.
Come
But
here.
Ewan McGregor style.
Yeah, whatever. No, man, he knows how to party.
No, yeah.
I'm going to like Dex's Diner or
Do you-
whatever.
Dexter
I think they
Jetster.
have parties at Dexter Jacksters.
Yeah, man.
What is?
Hey, what do you think he used
what
those
is the
forearms
crew
for?
of jacking people off? THX 1138 style.
Hey, Obi-Wan.
Hey, you want old lefty again?
No, and then he looks at like a alien with like 8 boobs, and he's like, "Baby, you make me wish I had 8 hands."
What do you think was the face of like the production crew when they got George Lucas's script and it's like Dexter Jackster, and they're like, and they see the footage and George is like, could you have him like raising his thing so you could see his butt crack, so you get like a little bit of a comedy beat
Yeah,
there.
he pulls up his bum.
And he has like a dirty apron.
Yeah, that's right.
Ugh.
He's so gross. I keep confusing him with Dexter Fletcher, who directed
Yeah.
Rocket Man.
Wait, like when you see them, are
Yes.
you like, is
His-
that Dexter Fletcher or
Well,
Dexter Jackster?
They both
He
have
just
4
calls
hands.
him Dexter Jetster, which, by the way,
How often does that come up?
often
the
because we
time.
just
All the
it
time.
does. We
You're
just
like,
well,
who, you watch Rocket Man,
just watched
right?
Rocket Man, and then Bohemian Rhapsody came out last year, so we were obviously talking about that a lot because
Dexter
we
Jetster.
hated it. But Rocket Man's good. Go see it if you like musicals.
Yes, it is good. So what was your favorite part of Black Xmas?
Well, I'm gonna say the cinematography. Actually,
Yeah.
Very dynamic,
It is.
colorful.
The one thing is, like I really, really liked the color palette and the color grade. It's kind of how I would color grade a movie. It's super contrasty, and then there's all these Christmas decorations, right? So all of these like primary colors are just like popping,
Very punchy.
and it looks really, really kind of like soft, but also like really dynamic.
But not blue and teal style, which is how
No.
everything is now.
It's more
Yeah.
yellow, reds, and greens.
Yeah.
But also the camera is usually either like up in the corner looking down or down on the floor looking up.
And it's always like crazy wide angle lenses.
Yeah,
too.
it's weird. It kind of starts out, I think for the first like 15 minutes or so, we were watching this, and everything was really wide angle from like lower above and
yeah,
very
like
distorted.
right away.
And then it kind of stopped doing that. But then once the movie got going, like I'm saying, the camera work is really dynamic and always moving, which I really
Well,
really
it's
liked.
not necessarily always moving, but because like I said, sometimes it's just a really weird angle. But it's almost like every shot the director or cinematographer was like, let's make this look more
Let's
interesting.
spice it up. A real
sure.
Michael Bay.
Once the action starts, the camera is always doing something. It's always
Yeah.
like tracking along
Exactly.
or moving,
Right
and like
when
you
the
know what I
movie
mean.
really picked up in that second half.
Yeah, it's very sort of interesting, which is kind of like a step above and beyond like what you
Yeah,
normally
most of these like
see in
hack
this sort of-
works, like
exactly. Yeah.
House of or the Sorority Row or Prom Night, all these other slasher remakes.
Yeah, which is really good. So
House-
I mean,
House
that
of
kind of
Wax.
showed some sort of effort on their part.
House
I
of
think.
well, I love House of
House of
Wax.
Wax, the
Yeah, which
remake?
is
I
actually a
only saw
remake
the first half.
of Tourist Trap.
Is it really?
It is, because it's all about like a guy that has like a bunch of dummies and stuff like that. It has very little to do with House of Wax. What, you didn't see the back half? Because that's the best part, where the
No.
person's like escaping the House of Wax that's melting.
That
It's
was
like-
fantastic.
Yeah, every
Talking
step
about
that they
the
take.
new one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
With
yeah,
Paris
no, I
Hilton.
With
only
Paris
saw-
Hilton
Yeah.
gets the giant dick to the face.
Yeah,
I
that
saw the
whole
first half.
that whole last scene was fucking
Yeah,
amazing.
I mean, House of Wax, I believe it was produced by Robert Zemeckis, right? I think it was, yeah.
Bobby
It was a
Z.
Joel Silver joint, because I think it was a Dark Castle production.
Oh, I thought it was one of those Platinum Dunes.
I don't, maybe. I don't believe so, no. But that was directed by Jean-Claude Sora. I'm saying his name wrong. The guy who would go on to do Orphan and Unknown, and he's doing Jungle Cruise with The Rock, and he's also going to be directing Black Lightning. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
If only Glenn Morgan could have an in with The Rock.
No kidding.
So what was your favorite part of Black Xmas, Colin?
Wait,
I was
is it
go-
called Xmas or Christmas?
It's called Christmas, but people call it Black Xmas because I believe the poster art has Xmas on it.
I think it does, yeah. It's
Yeah, it
really
does.
ugly. The cover on the DVD is terrible, by the way. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we tried watching this on DVD, and it's, I don't know, for some reason, for a 2006 movie, this would not play in widescreen on the PS4.
What do you mean it wouldn't play in widescreen?
It was so archaic. It was like squished horizontally,
Which 4:3?
which I've never ever seen.
You know, it might have been an issue with the PS4.
I've never had that issue with any other.
Maybe the PS4 is not a big fan of Black Xmas.
Yeah.
So I just went to iTunes and it was on sale for 99 cents for the rental.
Just take it. We'll pay you 99 cents.
People are like, Christmas movie.
Yeah, they should
Hey,
be
why
jacking
not?
the price up around Christmas.
Yeah,
you
that's a good
know?
point.
Jacking something. If you're Dexter
They're
Jetster.
Bobby Duvall.
So what was your favorite part, Colin?
Well, you guys have taken all
I
my
know.
favorite things. No, but
Colin was like, I have no notes for this film, and I came to him last.
no,
Like,
it's like, well, along the lines of the practical stuff, like the stunts, it was a really good scene near the end where they're like crawling in between the walls.
Oh, yeah.
Housebound
Which,
style.
yeah, it was really, really cool. It was almost like, the original Matrix where they like, smash through the
Yeah, that's
they
right.
smash through the lath and like plaster, and she's crawling down, and so they've got like Agnes like climbing up, and then the other guy climbing
Billy.
down, Billy climbing down. And then, she like sets the whole thing on fire. And then I think it's Agnes. She falls down. And
Yeah.
It's a really long
She
shot.
fell like
just
in
like-
between the walls.
It just goes.
That's the good stuff.
It's really funny.
People don't appreciate what they're missing from movies
That is
today.
a great stunt, and it's just like a great scene, a good set piece. That,
Well, I believe the actor who played Agnes is a stuntman.
probably, yeah.
Yeah.
And,
that's
they
usually how
ended,
they do that.
ended up casting.
A yellow-skinned man.
He actually plays a female in the movie, but I think that they were just like,
We need a stuntman with jaundice.
We need a stuntman. So I don't know. There's a backstory on why he was cast, but he's not an actor.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a really good gag and just like a really good set piece. It looked very, very dangerous. Let's
People,
say that.
they don't put enough good physical gags in horror movies anymore.
They don't.
And that's what it's missing from them.
Yeah.
Back in the good old days, like when Black Xmas came out.
Yeah, when people like, you watch something and like, God damn, that hurt. Like,
I'm
something-
excited for the new Black Christmas movie that's coming out this Friday.
Yeah, explain that
oh
to
my
me.
God, it's
So-
out already?
Yeah,
I
this
thought-
Friday it's coming out.
I thought that they were just making it. I didn't
I
realize
only
it was
feels like
already
I just
done.
heard about it. Like,
Oh,
week ago.
it's a Blumhouse production. It looks like it's like another. I mean, the trailer gives away a lot, but it also kind of sets up that it's radically different again from the other movies.
Okay.
It looks like this time the sorority house, there's like murders going on, but then they find out that it's like a male. Wait, sorority is male, isn't it?
No, sorority's female.
Female.
It's frat house.
Frat
is male.
house, yeah. So that there's like a frat that are like weird, like the Skulls style cult people that are like murdering people, and then all the women in the house, it turns to like a siege situation where they have to defend themselves.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's like something different.
Yeah, but wasn't there people up at arms about this? Or
Yeah, because
something?
it's PG-13.
Just Joe Bob
Oh.
Briggs.
Like who
Who cares?
Like Black Christmas stands.
and,
We're
and,
like,
they,
"Whoa,
and, they,
how dare you."
and they're like, oh, they're trying to shove down this PC message of women defending themselves against
Oh my
men.
God, yeah.
Yes, that's what it was.
That's what they do in this movie.
I mean,
except
wow.
They just
yeah,
kinda
that's what they
suck
do in
at
real
it.
life because they have to.
And Joe Bob is like, I preferred it when my movies in the 80s and 70s didn't have political messages in them. It's like,
Fuck off.
Joe Bob, I got to take you aside. We have to talk a little bit about the movie.
I don't get that guy.
Dawn of the Dead had no message at all to
or
say
Texas
about
Chainsaw
anything.
Massacre,
Yeah.
or
Yeah, I don't.
Well, sorry. They didn't shove it down your throat like they do now.
Yeah. One thing I actually did like about this movie is, there
That
were a lot of red herrings.
So
Yeah.
many red
I was
herrings.
actually paying attention to be like, okay, who's the killer? Who's the killer?
Mm-hmm.
Because like the girl has a scumbag boyfriend who's a townie, and it turns out that he's banging another girl in the sorority, and
Right.
so you kind of think that it's gonna be him, and then the killer's Billy. His catchphrase in this movie is, "You're my family now."
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or we're family now.
Yeah, I think
it's "You're my family now."
something like that. Yeah.
Because that's what he says to like his like daughter/sister, and he says it to all the women that he killed, and then you realize the boyfriend at the beginning at the scene in the car, he says that to blonde protagonist.
And you brought that up. You're like,
What?
you're-
And I was like, and then he just gets killed. So I was like, oh. And then I thought maybe
Those
Andrea.
are called red
I
herrings.
thought Andrea
Yeah.
Martin
Like
was
you
the killer
said. You thought Andrea Martin?
because I thought maybe she
She's like,
she
I
was
should have
the
been as big as the other SCTV actors, but I wasn't.
She should have. She's really funny.
Hey,
but
eat
she
prickly, come on.
Well, I was like, maybe she's Agnes, but she doesn't have a glass eye.
then there was the weirdo.
The weirdo sorority
with the
sister
glasses.
who also says, "You're my family now. Yeah,
Yeah.
they were kind of really kind
Yeah,
of
they were kind of like
heavy
trying to
with
confuse you, and then you realize later that it's actually two killers that have been like.
That's
killing
supposed to
people.
be the switcheroo, but it's not really much of a switcheroo. And one thing that this movie does that a lot of horror movies do is we get to the end of the movie
And
you
you're like,
think
it's over.
No, there's a scene in the hospital, and then the killer's in the hospital.
So get this: the version that we saw is
Yeah.
actually the European version. So
Oh.
there was a ending for the U.S. which was completely different.
Wait, what was there? Because I've seen the version that has the hospital ending.
Well, they
Yeah.
both take place in the hospital.
Okay.
But one, I think the U.S. version, he falls and gets impaled on a Christmas tree.
That's the one I've seen.
Okay, the one that we saw
didn't see that.
was completely different.
Yeah.
So it's like Agnes comes back, kills the nurse, and then hides in the ceiling, and then
Yeah.
is killed by a defibrillator to the
right,
head.
defibrillator to the face.
Defibrillator or fibrillator? Defibrillator.
Oh
I
man,
think
don't ask.
I think it's defibrillator.
It's
It's defibrillator. It's different.
Fribrillator.
Perfect.
for defibrillator.
Sequest.
Sequester speak.
Yeah, that's a reference to a conversation that was deleted from one of the early episodes.
No,
No,
it's
it's
still
in
there.
All right. So speaking of, oh man, I got nothing now.
So
to
what-
the next movie that we watched. You guys ready to take the rush?
Oh
The
man.
Christmas rush? Are you ready to break away, as it's known under its alternate title?
Okay.
With our hero, Dean Cain.
Dean Cain. You know what? I like Dean Cain based on nothing, and
Superman, The Legend Continues.
never watched that show.
I don't think it was The
Or,
Legend
sorry.
Continues.
The Legend
No, you're
Continues.
thinking of Hercules, The Legendary Journeys.
Yeah, it's Lois and Clark.
Yeah, Lois and Clark. I was a big Lois and Clark fan. I loved it. And I mean, I was like 10, but
Did you love Hercules, Legendary Journeys as well?
I did watch that
No,
too.
it was
Or Young
it was-
Hercules?
It was Lewis and Clark, The Legendary Journeys.
Lewis and Clark.
Kevin
Yes, our
Sorbo.
favorite explorers, Lewis and Clark.
I was more of a Xena fan.
Yes.
But
and you know, Lucy Lawless, not terrible, as opposed to Dean Cain and Kevin Sorbo.
Isn't that amazing? They're
That's
both horrible
people. I mean, you make a choice, right? You know, when they come and knock at your door and they're like, "You want to be in God's Not Dead?" They're like, "Yeah, you know what? I do hate anyone who's not Christian."
I hate non-religious people.
And there was a little red flag early on in this movie where, you know, it's Erica Leniak is in it. And they have a shot of her and she's wearing this cross around her neck very prominently.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say when someone's like "Merry Christmas" and Dean Cain's like, "Don't you mean Happy Holidays?" That's what the PC police make us say.
We're not allowed to wish people happy Thanksgiving
Back,
anymore.
all the way back in 2002, they
Yep,
were saying
that's
this.
right.
And they're
weird.
still saying this.
Yeah, they are, because they're terrible people. So this is a Die Hard ripoff.
Yeah.
I guess without shame, it's a Die Hard ripoff.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Homage.
It is not a homage.
Some say homage.
Homage.
I say homage.
And so I had fond memories of this movie because it's filled with things exploding, which I love in my action movies.
So many things exploding.
And it's also set during lots of Christmas content.
Yeah.
It's not
yeah.
like in the background. This is not Invasion USA.
No.
But I think that my favorite part in it is the fact that, like, the plot is Eric Roberts, everyone's favorite, is robbing a mall with a bunch of goons because he needs money for his kid's leukemia operation.
Right. He's a bone marrow
He needs a bone.
transplant.
That's the only reason he's robbing this
Right.
place. Doesn't kill anyone.
He's like an ex-thief.
Yeah, ex-thief. And Dean Cain is just at the mall to pick up his wife, sees this shit going down, and steals the money to keep it safe, I guess, and starts murdering all the goons.
He kills-
The goons do not murder. Not one innocent person dies in this
No,
movie.
and that was never even the plan from the beginning. They only take hostages because they just come upon them like by accident.
And
in
Eric
the
Roberts,
mall.
when he's robbing the bank, he's like, "Hey, it's insured. Don't worry about it."
Yeah, so he's going out of his way to.
It's almost like they didn't realize that when they were making this movie, that like, oh man, our hero is actually more evil than the evil people.
Or maybe they did, and that's what the whole movie's about.
Hey,
the
it's like-
corrupt system that is the
When you-
Chicago police.
when you kill in the name of Jesus, it's not murder.
It's not murder.
Well,
Yeah.
they were trying to kill him, man, so it's okay.
They were, but he starts it because he steals
Yeah,
the money
he starts-
right from the get-go.
But he is like protecting this money like it's
Like it's like a child.
like it's his son in this case. He's
And like at
running.
one point, Eric Roberts gets away, and Dean Cain's like, "I need to go kill him." Like he has no hostages, he has nothing, and he's like, "I just got to go do it."
And it's so weird. It's like they met up earlier in the movie at the recital, and he was like, "Hey, man, you know, not robbing banks anymore. It seemed like they were kind of like on friendly terms.
Yeah.
But then like Eric Roberts, like the leukemia's back and his kid.
You kind of overhear him talking
Yeah.
to his wife saying the leukemia's back.
I'm not sure Dean Cain heard that.
No. But then his wife later on
tells him, because his wife gets captured
And
in
now
the mall.
it's like, well, I got to kill everyone now.
Wait, first of all, this takes place in, and I'm doing the air quotes,
Chicago, aka Winnipeg.
It's
the
Winnipeg.
murder capital of Canada. I don't know if that's true, but I'm just gonna say it because I think I read a statistic somewhere that said that.
There's actually a lot of places in Canada where the murder rate is really high.
Yeah.
There's
Usually
like this living room.
usually in the kind of middle part of Canada where there's nothing to do.
Yeah,
except
well,
murder.
there's like a website online, I don't know what it's called, but you can like search like what city in Canada is like the top for crime, the top for drug offenses, the top for, rapes.
You know what? The homicide capital of Canada is actually Thunder Bay.
Oh, see,
Really?
a small, somewhat
Not surprising.
rural, countryish town in
Yeah.
the tip of Ontario.
Nothing to do except
That's why it's called Thunder.
drink and murder.
Because murder.
Because you're bringing thunder all the time with your guns.
So Dean Cain shows up, old Blandy Cain himself.
He is so bland.
He's so
I don't know.
bland.
I don't know this guy from Adam. Like fucking like
Some one-liner.
He did. I mean, he's fun in this movie. At one point, he grabs a hockey stick and he starts they have like a hockey sword fight.
he's
was
doing
pretty cool.
slap shots at the bad guy.
Yeah,
There's
he is.
there's like pucks on the ground and he's slap shotting him and then he says, "I don't even play hockey."
great, 'cause I'm Dean Cain.
Yeah, I'm just great at everything. Like, I think his thing is supposed to be just like, oh, I'm handsome. I played Superman. But like,
yeah, that's what he says in Christmas Rush. He's like, "Hey, didn't you know me? I was in Lois and Clark."
That's what he
He's
says
just
to
playing
everybody
Dean
that he
Cain.
meets.
Yeah.
I remember another thing I saw Dean Cain in. Remember Rat Race?
Was he in Rat Race?
He was in very briefly.
Oh, I do not remember that.
I rewatched that movie recently and actually couldn't finish it.
Like you
'cause
do
it
every
did-
month?
It didn't hold up. Can you
Wait,
believe
wait.
it? Rat Race
Whoa,
didn't
whoa, whoa.
hold up.
How could you not get to the end when Smash Mouth comes out and they
know.
sing All Star?
No,
So,
that doesn't happen.
Dean
does it?
Cain-
Yeah, you don't know that's the end of Rat Race. They
Yeah.
crash on the stage
Oh
and it's
my
like a charity
God.
event.
Yeah.
And then Smash Mouth is there and then everybody sings. It's like, hey, now it's like John Cleese and Mr. Bean and
Oh,
John
no.
Lovitz, all the stars.
Are you joking?
Yeah, the sky was black for all the stars were in Rat Race.
Oh
That
my
movie
God.
does have a few jokes, but
It has one very funny joke where John Lovitz
The
like
Nazi
the
thing?
Nazi thing.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say.
But yeah, Dean Cain plays it. Do you remember Breckenmeyer meets that girl who was in movies a lot? The
Yeah.
blonde
Of course,
lady.
That girl who's in movies that is blonde. Brittany Murphy.
She was in The Butterfly Effect. I can't remember her name.
Ashton Kutcher.
She's not in movies anymore.
Have we ever talked about my favorite shot in cinema history from The Butterfly Effect?
No.
Which is at one point, have you ever seen The Butterfly Effect?
Yeah,
Have
we
you?
watched it recently.
It's that shot where like Ashton Kutcher, it's like that shot in Army of Darkness where he's like, ugh, what a horrible nightmare. It's like a close up of his face and it zooms out and he has no arms and legs and he's like, ah! It's like the shittiest like CG.
That's right.
It was the best they could afford at the time.
we were laughing at the CG. Yeah, it was so funny.
Anyway, so in Rat Race, he meets up with this lady, and she has a helicopter, and so he's like, "Fly me to Silver City so I can get the money." And she's like, "I'm just gonna stop up on my boyfriend," and he's in the pool like making out with some girl, and it's Dean Cain, and so she crashes the helicopter into the pool,
Killing Dean Cain.
yeah, it's a very slapstick scene in a very slapstick movie.
Yeah.
it's like it's a mad world.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah. With the stars of the time, the John Lovitz and
I've seen Mad
It's a
Mad
film.
World.
Not
they can-
funny.
It's a
It's
film they
okay.
can remake over and over and over.
What is this generation's Mad World? When's it gonna come out?
Suicide Squad?
Yeah, Suicide Squad.
Game night? I don't know.
No, that's not It's a Mad World. You need like 30 comedians.
Yeah, like the Expendables.
The Expendable. Again, not It's a Mad World.
The Expendables of comedy.
Who are the Expendables of comedy?
Movie 43.
Like if they were gonna make like so you got like Carrot Top. You got
Yeah,
who else?
like literally expendable.
Like Chris Kattan,
Rob Schneider.
Rob Schneider. I guess it's like the bench warmers, right? The guy who played Napoleon Dynamite.
Who's the guy with the
John
stupid
Hughes.
puppets?
Oh, he's popular though. What's his name? Like the racist puppets?
Yeah, like
Jeff
Abdul-
something, isn't
Jeff
it?
Dunham.
Jeff Dunham, yeah. You got the whole blue collar comedy crew.
You got Larry the Cable Guy.
Yeah. What is
Tim
his name?
Allen?
Yeah, Tim Allen.
All the Kevin Hart.
It's
for
called
sure.
Woke Race.
Yeah.
Those social justice warriors are trying to get in our way.
It's a white world.
Yeah.
because it's cocaine, and Tim Allen just snitched on you.
Don't do it in front of Tim. He'll rat you out. That's right. I got pictures.
Anyway, I have a slightly funny, very short Dean Cain story. I went to a film festival a couple years ago for short movies. I think it was Holly Shorts or LA Shorts. And the opening night, all the celebrities who had short movies in the festival got to show their movies. So it was like John Stamos, Robin Wright Penn.
Bai Ling.
Bai Ling, that guy who's in Stranger Things, not David Harbour. The guy from MASH. No, not MASH. Full Metal Jacket. Anyway.
Matthew Modine?
Yeah, he had a movie in it too. Anyway, so Dean Cain had a short, and I kind of saw him from across the room. Cool. And it was really bad. It was like...
Did he direct it?
Yeah, I think he wrote... No, sorry. The director and the writer was there, and he was like, when I got this movie, I was like... I need Dean Cain. Like,
no one has ever said that
I know.
in their life.
And it's a short film. It's
you know who could fill this role?
No,
Cain.
unless
Dean
it's
Cain.
Dean Cain
Like-
that's saying that.
think of like the most
Look at himself
generic
in the
like
mirror.
action movie. So it's like he's like in a bar talking to like a older African American gentleman, and he's like talking about his life, and then it cuts to like a scene of him like in a shootout and hiding behind a car, and then you find out he actually died in that shootout, and he's like talking to God or something.
Oh my God.
I may be misremembering it, but I was laughing at it, and I was really enjoying it because
Did
I
Dean
love
Cain
bad
like
movies.
turn around and he's like, could you please be quiet?
No, I was like way at the back, and he was like way at the front of the
He was
theater.
holding his crucifix around his neck.
Yeah, so that's my Dean Cain story.
Wow.
Still making
What a
movies.
rush.
At the Christmas Rush.
Yep.
The VFX company that I used to work at worked on one of his movies called, I think it was called Bailey's Billions.
Yes. You said that it was about a dog winning the lottery.
I don't know.
I have so many questions.
Okay.
If that's true.
I have no I never worked on it.
Nothing in the rules that says a dog can't win the lottery.
For this poster would be hanging up in the office.
All right, so I have this question. You worked on a lot of like special effects stuff. Like the posters that would line the
Oh
wall.
my God.
You would walk in and
The
people would be
worst.
like, hey.
Oh yeah, there was
Like,
one
what would
time.
it be?
There was one time we had like a movie theater in the
Yeah.
office, like a proper like kind of screening room that we could watch our shots
It
on.
was
and
like
stuff.
Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, Wolverine
I
Origins.
think it was the
Big Hit.
It was the Love Guru. And some director came in and he's like, "Ugh, Jesus, do you guys work on that piece of shit?"
Yeah, it's like that's bad advertising.
How would you put that up?
And then the owner of the company, after the director had left, told the receptionist, "Take that fucking poster off the wall."
Yeah, of course. As if it was her fault.
Why the hell did you put that up? You embarrassed me. You embarrassed this company.
He was the one who would always have any of these posters like framed. He still had to that like
Yeah.
Bailey's Billions, I think, was the first thing. The first thing that
Bailey's
they ever
Billions.
worked on, so he still had that friggin' poster on the wall, even though we'd worked on like better movies since then. I'm like, just take that
so
down.
what were like the good ones that were on the wall? Santa Claus 2.
This is gonna be a long pause here right now. I'm trying to think.
I mean, guys, look at Colin's IMDb.
Oh my god.
And then you'll find out what the best
A
movie
list of
was
winners.
he worked on.
So he worked on Bailey's Billions, and he was having a smoke with Dean Cain. So it was basically a talking dog. That
He's done a lot of talking dog movies.
somehow
Dean
won the
Cain. He has a
lottery.
who legacy of talking dog movies.
Legacy. So
He
Dean
does.
Cain has passed away. His legacy are the talking lottery-related films.
He was in some movie with Kevin Hart's brother. I'm not even joking.
Wait, remember when there was like a whole like lottery wave of comedies that came out? There was like that John Travolta one.
Yeah, with
there was
Lisa
the Nick
Kudrow?
Cage one where he won as well.
Yeah, there was like Brewster's Millions with
yeah.
Richard Pryor.
That has nothing to do with lottery.
Okay.
What about
That's
Mr.
about a man that dies and then he has to spend $1 billion.
Maybe the dog inherited the money.
What about Mr.
And then like
Deeds?
everyone was trying to like murder him.
Yeah, but he talked somehow too. So they CG'd the mouth.
Listen, money can buy anything.
And so my boss was out having a smoke with Dean Cain, like between takes. And my boss said to him, like, "Ugh, what a piece of shit, eh?" And then Dean Cain was
I
like,
wrote that film.
"Yeah." Dean Cain says, "At least you don't have to put it on your demo reel. My name's on this fucking thing." in the opening credits.
That was your boss like, you don't have to put it on your demo reel, Dean.
Well, like he's probably like, I have to.
No, his
that's all I
name is
have.
like in the opening credits.
Yes, that's true.
He's like, nobody has to know that you guys worked on this movie.
Well, what's good about Dean Cain is that he turned his career around and made nothing but quality since then.
Oh my God! But I have to say, this is the best thing I've ever seen Dean Cain in.
What was your favorite part of the movie, other than Dean Cain, of course?
Come on, like the destruction that is caused in this
Insanity.
mall. Well, this is a mall in Winnipeg, and Justin, you were asking like, "Oh my God, like what mall would let them do this?" And I'm like, "Come on, any Winnipeg mall is going to be fucking on fire and like
They
smashed."
didn't even clean it up before they opened the next day.
it's just
Apologies
rubbling
to our
glass.
fans in Winnipeg.
I'm sorry,
We're
Winnipeg
not saying
people.
that all your malls are decrepit. I'm sure that they're great.
Just this one that they shot in.
Isn't that where the Canada's largest mall is?
That might be Calgary.
That's
Calgary.
Yeah.
The good place, not like Winnipeg.
I'm shaking my head right now.
I've never been to Winnipeg. Never will. Why would I go to that hellhole? We're very anti-Winnipeg.
Very
And
sad.
I'm following Collins.
Don't. I don't have any anti-Winnipeg thing. Anyway, the destruction, like the practical. There's a great gunfight between Dean Cain and this like Russian baddie.
Yes.
My God, everything is slow mo and exploding, and there's glass and like rubble, and then Dean Cain. Well, I won't take it, but there is a great stunt that happens.
Yes, that's right.
Oh yeah, he falls on a Christmas tree.
There's a very large Christmas tree. It's got to be like 50 feet tall.
Police
or something.
Story style.
Yeah,
Takes a big
exactly.
fall. What was your favorite part, April?
I mean, there's a good scene at the end that involves some like go-kart looking things.
You're using the term good very generously.
We kind of already
was
checked
so
out.
long.
It was really long, but like they for some reason at the end of the movie they go under the mall, and I think that they're supposed to be like, oh, these are the vehicles that were traveling around a construction site, but they don't even have the ability to lift things. Like
No.
they're not like forklifts. So what are they, and why are they under the mall?
They're kind of just like gonna go-kart things.
They're just like golf cart things.
They're
but-
like go-karts because they have like that wireframe look to
Yeah,
them.
they have like the kind of roll cage and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But these things drive like 5 miles an hour. Like
I
you
know.
know,
Like, they don't even try to like speed them up or anything.
but
They
like
just-
writing the script, you could see, okay, you know, this is gonna be like this sexy action scene where they're like racing down these tunnels.
they
And
can't
stuff
even
like
pass
that.
each other
They
because the road is so narrow.
And they have no suspension on them, so they're just like, it looks like
It's
the
like that
bumpiest
scene
ride.
in Austin Powers 1 where they're on those like things in the hallway and they can't turn around.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, like,
There was a scene where he had to turn around.
it's so
like,
awkward
I
and
mean,
slow.
we missed some really important stuff, like the guy that looks like Ike Barinholtz.
Ike Barinholtz, that's the name. So that's the cop that ends up double crossing.
Well,
Dean
yeah,
Cain.
it isn't Ike, but it looks very much like him.
Ike was probably a little kid.
Like I said, it looks like Fred Ward and who else?
David Duchovny too.
Robert Forster all got in like a telepod from The Fly
Yeah.
and were merged together.
And we also love the scene where Biker Bar explodes.
And is blown up by a 3-legged cat.
Yeah, that was at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
That was very confusing.
Why is there a 3-legged cat? It's because they blew up the I can't say bar. Biker Bar, 2 B's, alliterative. Oh.
Yeah.
To distract the police from when they were robbing the mall.
Oh, so they did kill people, maybe.
I guess maybe.
Maybe.
That was an
that
abandoned
seems
warehouse.
very weird because it's just like a lot of big-breasted women like coming into the bar and then it
Yeah.
explodes.
It's very random, but
Yes.
before it explodes, this 3-legged white cat is seen in
runs away.
slow motion running away, and then the bar
It's
explodes.
very guilty.
So it's
Guys.
well, you know, cats, they're assholes.
Oh, a little anti-cat sentiment.
Hey, ours is in the bedroom right now. You can't hear.
He's in a bad cat phase right
Very
now.
bitey.
He's in a
And jumping
timeout.
on tables. But that's a conversation for another day.
Yeah, April said he's getting better with that guilty voice of a parent who knows that their child is just worse than they've ever been.
Yeah, it's going to probably be a serial killer. When he
Well,
grows up.
hey, he bites me more than he bites everyone, so
Okay, that is
it's true. So I take
not a
that-
plus.
taking
Oh no,
the
man! Cat social services is going to come and take your cat away.
taking the
There's
brunt of the abuse.
the funny thing about this movie is, I guess it was a TV movie, so there are commercial breaks.
Yes,
They're like
on the
fade
DVD
outs.
that we have, which is not called the amazingly titled Christmas Rush. It's known as Breakaway.
Breakaway.
Boo! Bad generic title.
Yeah, it just doesn't say anything.
Well,
about
April
anything.
said just because it was all breakaway glass.
That's right. Yeah. It's a police story.
Did you say what you liked, Justin?
Yes, I did. I started with it. My
Okay.
favorite part was the fact that Dean Cain is like a serial killer.
Oh, yeah.
Who's murdering. Because at the end of the movie, Eric Roberts is trying to escape, and he's trying to like climb a ladder, and the cops keep shooting at him, but he keeps cutting to Dean Cain being like, "Ooh,
I know.
oh,
Dean
man,
Cain-
why do you keep doing this?"
Dean Cain should be like, guys, stop! Like he's dead. Like stop shooting him.
And then Eric Roberts is like, "Please help my son." And Dean Cain's like, "Okay." And guess what? The police step up. They give Dean Cain $200,000 to pay for that leukemia operation.
I do not
from
understand
the
this.
policeman's insurance company.
Yeah, it's like the
It's a scam.
So
Yeah.
Eric Roberts' wife
Don't
is
trust
talking,
any cops.
is talking to the doctor, and the doctor's like, "Sorry, we can't help your son. There's a little financial issue."
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, like the mayor walks in or something. "Nah, we're taking care of it."
I think it was the police. No,
Yeah,
the police
commissioner.
chief.
Oh,
'Cause
yeah,
he was
okay.
like, "Oh, the mayor took care of it," but I think that maybe the police department did steal that money, and that was them like laundering some off.
No idea. For whatever reason, Dean Cain is handed a check for
So
$200,000.
essentially, Eric Roberts
died for nothing.
died for nothing. I mean, he died to save his son. His son would not have
His
been
son
saved
lived.
if he had not done those actions. But in the process, many men were killed.
Yeah, but shouldn't that $200,000 go to like fixing all the fucking damage that Dean Cain did to this mall? This mall is destroyed.
Yeah.
And it is in Winnipeg,
But that's
come
the
on.
mall insurance.
What are they going to cover? He did it all. For what?
Well, maybe that's why they were like, "Oh, what about that lawsuit?" And they're like, "The mayor took care of that. Maybe the mall
What's
sued
weird
him."
about the movie as well is that Dean Cain doesn't know that there's hostages until very far into the movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
until he gets the wife back.
Yeah, so essentially he's just like murdering all these people because he needs to save that money.
That money.
Which I like to point out, victimless crime.
Yeah. As Eric Robert points out earlier in
Yeah,
the
it's
movie.
insured. Don't worry about it.
Oh my God.
All right, so where can people see this movie,
For
April?
Jesus.
Well, Christmas Rush.
Can't see anywhere.
Do you think it's still playing on TBS?
TBS does not exist does it in the States? It's like
It might. A Superstation,
Peachtree
right?
TV.
That might be playing on,
Peachtree, yeah.
would it be playing on like Spike?
Yeah,
Spike
Spike
TV.
does
Well, just
not exist anymore.
Growing up, no, it doesn't.
I mean, they canceled my slam ball seasons, where it's basketball with trampolines, which is, you never seen slam ball? Yeah.
No.
Yeah. We used to have it back in my office. There was like a slam ball poster because we eliminated the wires.
And Stripperella reruns.
Oh, that's right. Please say it correctly. Stan Lee Stripperella,
Stan Lee
starring Pam Anderson.
Hey guys, I made a comic about a stripper.
But yeah, it used to be on TBS like every Christmas. So if that's still, check your local listings if you still have cable. But
24 hours of Christmas Rush.
Yeah.
Kind of like when they used to do a Christmas story and they play it
Yeah.
for 24 hours. On
Oh God.
But
Ugh.
you can find it in bargain bins. Justin did.
Yeah, I did. I found it for $2. But suppose I looked on Amazon, it goes for like $60 on DVD.
Oh God.
Obviously.
That like
don't pay that.
inflated.
Then you
like,
see, you look at the seller, it's Dean Cain.
he's like, I have so many bills to pay.
But they're just like, it's just a VHS copy that he's recorded off of TV.
TBS.
It's got commercial breaks and everything.
But it's like weird porno at the end, like taped over it.
Same with Black Christmas. There's DVD copies.
Oh
floating
yeah, I mean,
around.
walk into any used place, you'll find a DVD copy. Of
Hey, it's
Black
on
Christmas.
IMDb for 99 cents. If you rent it now.
iTunes.
iTunes.
Oh shit.
Oh man,
Let me rewind.
Colin's very out of touch. He's like,
Oh.
how much does a banana cost? $10?
Right now in no, it costs $125,000.
Guarantee you.
Oh, very current.
Guarantee. Yeah. So it'll probably still be on
iTunes.
iTunes.
iTunes
Yeah,
in Canada at 99 cents.
Yeah,
So
pick it up.
and like I say, I'd
Oh.
actually recommend both these movies. I mean, one for like Christmas themed but generic but still fun slasher, and a Christmas themed very generic but still fun action movie.
I mean, you get that Dean
Yeah.
Cain flavor, like we said.
Yeah.
Get the DVD of Black Christmas because you can see the director be like, I don't want to make this movie.
Oh, that's
see the
terrible.
real behind the scenes.
And
real.
Don't worry,
anguish.
you'll never direct again.
Oh, I think he directed an episode of the X-Files reboot.
I think so. Yeah.
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 So
mainly
you know,
TV stuff.
I'm sure he's doing fine. So if you want to email us, we're at no such thing as a bad movie at gmail.com, or you can tweet at us at no such thing pod. And if you feel like donating to the Patreon, we're at patreon.com/no such thing as a bad movie. And we have a little mini episode coming out every 2 weeks. And the one that we just released was
Was Terminator Genesis?
Oh, that's right.
Terminator Genesis.
We talked about Terminator Genesis last week, a really bad movie.
I think that my last 2 Patreon reviews on Letterboxd have been the same, which is like, please don't make me watch this movie anymore. Because next week, what are we doing? Because people are excited.
Next week on the Patreon, we're going to talk about the Santa Claus 2.
And this is important because someone on this show worked on the movie. I won't mention who.
April, you never
Could've
told
been
me you
any
worked
of
on this
us.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has the color correction that April loves.
Yeah, I think I've mentioned this before that I worked on
And
this
that's
movie.
why
Yeah,
it's
you're
so
right.
ugly.
Gee, self-deprecating.
Because I colored it, right? No. Anyway, but tune in to hear our thoughts on the Santa Claus,
Claus 2.
featuring
The Inside Dirt.
featuring Tim Allen.
Wait, he's on the podcast?
Oh my
Holy
God.
shit.
I love tools. Is
and if
that
you
how his
wanna-
comedy went?
Yeah.
No, his comedy is like the white man, last man standing. Brah.
If you want to tweet at me, I'm at April at Mansky.
And if you want to tweet at me or follow me, it's Declux, DECLOUX, and the letter J.
If you want to follow Justin, I will give you his home address.
No!
I'm on Twitter. It's Sergeant Zima, SGTZIMA.
I also got a Letterbox recently. I haven't been using it much, but hey, if you want to follow me on Letterbox, I'm not writing reviews or anything. I only give things a like or not a like. That's it. I'm not even doing ratings.
So if you want that, like, inside information.
But April's watching movies we've never heard about, and she will introduce it to us, right, April?
Ugh, no. I'm just
It's just like
watching
the Santa Claus 5
it's just
times
like
in a
whenever
row.
it's on Netflix. But if you want that, then follow like Justin's Letterbox.
Just Justin Declux.
Yeah, so tune in next week for more Christmas content. Happy holidays. I'm April Mansky.
Happy holidays. My name's Justin Declux. Happy holidays. Doesn't really work.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, I'm Colin Cunningham.
The ghost of Christmas past. Because he's old.
And remember, there's no such thing as a bad movie.